Now we're going to look at asbestos. Again, this is split into two parts because it's a moderately large part of the subject. It's certainly worth knowing about. So at the end of this part of the session, I want you guys to be able to state the names of the three types of asbestos that we're most likely to come across, explain the damage that asbestos can do to our health. A big thing is to be able to identify where asbestos might be found in a domestic property and explain the steps that you'd take if you suspect the presence of asbestos. This is why we need to know about asbestos. Every single day, 3 plumbers die as a result of exposure to asbestos. It's not something that happens right away. These people would have been exposed to asbestos maybe 15, 20 years ago and inhaled the fibres, and then those fibres become lodged in the lungs and cause cancer, essentially. I really like this picture because it just sort of shows you really don't know kind of what is around you when you work. You know, it's you break through a floorboard, you might come into contact with materials that are underneath. So make sure that you risk assess, the job's risk assessed before you start it. So what is asbestos? Asbestos is literally, it's made from rock. You know, it's a mineral fibre, and it's mined, and these fibres are very, very, very fine. And that's part of the issue. When they're so small that when you breathe them in, they can get into the deepest parts of your lungs and cause damage. Another big reason that they cause the damage is because they don't break down. Your body can't break them down. They're very resistant to chemical degradation, to fire. You know, it's part of the reason why asbestos was used so much was because it was a very durable material. But the problem is, if you breathe it in, then your body can't break it down either, and it essentially causes cancer over time. So there's 3 main types of asbestos that we should really be aware of: chrysotile, which some people call white asbestos; amosite, which is known as brown asbestos; crocodilite, or known as blue asbestos. Though, I mean, you call them sort of white, brown and blue, but you can't, when they're actually processed, they won't look like that at all. In fact, you'll not even be able to tell whether there's asbestos in a product or not without testing. So yeah, I mean, the fibres are strong, they're durable, resistant to heat and fire, and they're excellent thermal and acoustic insulators. And that's, like I say, it's part of the reason why it was used so widely in the construction industry before the year 2000. Yeah, the fibres are flexible. In the past, they've even been woven into cloth, mixed in with paper, mixed in with plastic, mixed in with cement. The asbestos was used regularly throughout the building industry over for many years. After the asbestos has been processed, there is no way to tell whether there's asbestos in a product or not. So if we look at these 3 pictures and think, well, which one of these has got asbestos in? And the answer is actually all 3. There's asbestos in the tiles and also on the backing of the tiles on the bathroom floor here. There's asbestos mixed in with cement for this corrugated roofing. There's asbestos mixed in with the plastic for this toilet system. The kind of good thing, I suppose, when it comes to asbestos is we're only at risk from asbestos if the fibres are released, if the fibres become airborne and we breathe them in. The downside of asbestos is these fibres are absolutely tiny. They would pass through the filters on a regular vacuum cleaner. These vacuum cleaners pick up specks of dust, but the asbestos fibres are so small they'd even just pass through these filters. So you need to make sure that you don't release the fibres, essentially, because then if people breathe them in, they stay in their body for many years, causing damage. The sort of damage that they cause could be lung cancer or mesothelioma, which is actually another form of lung cancer. So when the fibres are released, that's when we're most at risk. So therefore, soft asbestos materials, like asbestos insulating materials, it's got the highest potential for asbestos release, because once it becomes damaged, the fibres become airborne, and then we're at risk. So if the asbestos is in good condition, we're not actually at significant risk. But we are when it becomes damaged. So if anyone that hammers it, drills it, sort of knocks into it, the fibres are then released and can be inhaled. So yeah, like I say, if you drill, saw, cut into the building fabric in a building that contains asbestos, then you're going to be at risk of developing lung cancer. Okay. Got a task now. Good luck.